Hello and welcome to the Broad Street Hockey Podcast. I am your host, Ryan Gilbert. Joining me, as always, is my co-host, Joe DeMarini. Joe, love the mug. How we doing today?
Fantastic. It's just a beautiful Sunday afternoon. I spent the day. I went to Costco today. Love Costco. It's terrifying on a Sunday, but
Which
got some good
Costco?
stuff.
Where's Costco nearby?
King of Prussia. I stayed with my
Oh,
parents yesterday, and they
okay.
live out in the suburbs. So, yeah, got to get some Costco time in. Felt real good. Now I'm at
Nice.
home. Made a nice cup of hot tea. We got some hot tea to spill, probably. We'll see.
Ooh,
Ooh, probably not. But how you doing, Gilbs?
I am doing fantastic. Well, not really. I'm chugging along here. Woke up way too early. Could not fall back asleep. But it was a
Mm,
party at the Farg last night, Joe. It was a party, packed house. I don't know if it was Saturday night, Star Wars night, but a lot to cheer about as well.
a
Flyers,
lot of goals.
a lot of goals, great plays and scrums. So it was, yeah, everything you could want in a hockey game there. Flyers streaking now, 3 games in a row, of course,
Oh, baby.
winning 5-game point streak, 7-3-1 in the last 11. So Flyers are doing well right now. Who knows if it'll continue? I don't know if anyone would have bet on this happening, a week ago, 2 weeks ago. But if
Mhm.
so, you can bet on it at Bet Online, world's most trusted betting platform and your number one source for online betting. From the earliest odds to in-game live betting, Bet Online provides you with all the action and the ability to watch the games as they happen, with the largest selection of odds on everything from football, basketball, NHL to UFC and MMA. What a fight this weekend. Head to Bet Online today
Oh
to get in on the action with America's most trusted site for online wagering. Bet Online, the game starts here.
God, that fight was. Ugh. I was watching it at Barcade after a concert, and I was just like, "Is this where we are as a society? We're gonna watch this shitty YouTuber beat up an old man." God, it was. I don't.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I didn't think as many people would actually watch it as did, and apparently Netflix had some issues. And also there was a fight last night, UFC fight that was like an old guy or something that was also shitty. So
Oh, great.
no fights in the Flyers game though. After
Well,
after the goal scrum there from TK, but
mhm.
we'll start it off with around some news from around the league. Nothing
Yeah.
really too major, but something that could impact the Flyers.
So Elliot Friedman said that the cap is going to go up this summer. We all know that. The projected cap was going to be 92.5 million, I believe. But there are talks that it could go up to as much as 97 million and then keep rising from there. There's still like negotiations to have, nothing's finalized. But if the cap jumps that much, what is it now? 87.5, 80, 88.5?
Just 88, I believe.
88.5. If it jumps like 9 million, not like that TK contract, that's going to look fucking great. Owen Tippett, that's going to look pretty good too if he can just start hitting the net. And they'll have a lot more cap to work with when they have to sign some contracts to their pending RFAs. They have a few.
They do have a few, and I wonder if that's going to, motivate them to potentially get it done before the
Early.
cap goes up. Because the players see that, the agents see that, they're like, "All right, the cap's going up. You can give Cam York a little bit more. Maybe not so Morgan Frost, given how he's playing, but yeah, Flyers should look a lot to
Forster.
Cam York. He's an RFA. Yeah, Forster RFA. Noah Cates is an RFA. I'm not worried about overpaying
Yeah.
him, and Morgan Frost are the four for the coming off season. But yeah, I mean, you said it, the TK contract. I don't think people really had a problem with the amount of money. It's just the fact that they signed them and their whole philosophy of building a culture and not just
Mhm.
trading everyone for picks, which completely different conversation. But yeah, that contract will look even better. Sean Couturier contract be much more manageable. Same with Risto,
Yeah.
Farabee, 5 million. The Tippett contract is not aging as well as it looked, at the start of the calendar year, but it's
Early.
it's still a small sample size. I'm not gonna say it's a bad contract just yet, but
Mm-mm.
yeah, this this helps every team obviously because every team gets 10 million more dollars, but it helps the teams like the Flyers that are going into these next few years with an open book. Like they can now go out and potentially sign a big free agent center rather than having to draft one because they'll have the money to do so and they'll have more money to do so.
Mhm. Yep. And we don't have to rehash the TK contract stuff, although he's looking pretty good. But like, if you have young talent coming into this league, they need to play with good players. TK he might just be more than a good player at this point. He might be a great player. So, you know, what like, imagine TK wasn't here and Matvei Michkov. Who was he passing to last night? Who was he passing to? Ryan Poehling?
A freshly shaved head Ryan Poehling. Did you see that? You see he shaved his head?
Did.
I don't know why, but I don't know.
New beginnings. Artemi Panarin did it last summer and then was like a hard contender for most of the season. So maybe it's a thing.
Maybe that can get him going like Panarin, hopefully, yeah.
But the only other like league news is that it seems like there have been more active trades this year than there have in seasons past. Like, I think since the last time we recorded, Lars Eller got traded from the Penguins to the Capitals. Did that happen in the interim? I think.
Yeah, that happened on the next day. Yeah, it happened it was like right after we recorded, actually, a few hours later.
Okay. We've also seen some defensemen getting moved around. Like, I know most people are like, oh, trades don't happen until like the new year. Well, they're happening now. Who knows? Maybe the Flyers are thinking of making a move earlier than we've come to expect.
Yeah, you don't normally see two like big trades early on, but yeah, Lars Eller going back to the Caps. You see a few depth defensemen being traded where there's injuries. So, I mean, I wonder if the Flyers are considering that with Morgan Frost in a change of scenery trade. But like, I don't know if his value could be any lower at this point. Morgan Frost, but yeah, I risked the line, and they're keeping until they get a great offer. They'll keep him till the deadline, till the offseason even.
Speaking of lowest value, there was a video clip on Twitter or Blue Sky that I saw. I can't remember. Whatever.
On social media, you saw it.
On social media. I saw it on social media of Trevor Zegras scoring a goal.
Oh, yes.
And after he scored, he just looked miserable. He didn't even smile. He wasn't happy. He just kind of like slumped over and was like, yeah. And just like, get that poor guy out of there. I don't care if it's the Flyers. That guy needs to get out of Anaheim. Like, it is brutal for poor Trevor Zegras over there. They broke that poor kid.
Yeah, and it wasn't like a Scott Laughton, when he scored just a straight face. Zegras looked miserable. It looked like it was like a goal to make it like 7-2 instead of making it. I think it tied the game or made it 3-2. Like
3-2. Yeah, brought him within one.
It was an important goal in the game. I mean, for as important of a goal a Ducks game can be here. And you left off one key thing in the news from around the league. Speaking of the Ducks, William Gauthier has tied Wild goaltender Philip Gustafsson with 1 goal on the season. He finally got a goal on Friday night against the Red Wings there. So
wow,
yeah, good for him. Good for him there.
Must be nice.
Yes.
But let's not talk about former Flyers. Let's talk about the current Flyers and the fact that these guys are on a 5-game point streak and a 3-win streak.
Yeah.
Oh, baby.
Yeah. 7-3-1 in the last 11 since we have recorded. They had the 5-4 overtime win in Ottawa that they had absolutely no business winning that game whatsoever. But a great overtime winner by Matvei Michkov. And then, of course, Saturday night, big 5-2 win against Buffalo. Got a goal early on the power play. Sanheim with a blast. Zamula with another fluky goal like he tends to have a lot. And then, that Michkov at TK, then the TK empty netter. So good stuff there. Flyers aren't playing amazing hockey, but they're winning games. And as I titled the podcast, ride the wave. Ride the wave right now. They're going to win games they're not supposed to. They're going to lose games they're not supposed to. They're going to finish in the middle of the pack, hopefully for the long term, a bit lower, maybe for the short term fun and enjoyment of watching this team. Maybe they make a playoff push. But right now, just, you can't help but watch this team and be excited. It's not like in years past when, with all due respect to these guys, great guys, Kevin Hayes was scoring, you're like, okay, whatever. Even like JVR last year, Cam Atkinson, you're happy for him, but it's not like Forster scoring or Michkov scoring or Konechny scoring. Like, you can't help but be excited when you see Michkov pull off these things.
It rules. I was begging for a Michigan goal last night. He got behind the goal line, and I was like, Michigan, Michigan, come on. He didn't do it, but you know, it's always possible.
Yeah. So yeah, Flyers are now 7-3-1 in their last 11. But as I said, they're not playing great hockey. I believe I saw their goal differential is like 37-34. Obviously, a few of those wins, 2 in a shootout, 1 in an overtime. So a lot of 1-goal wins in there.
Can we talk about the fact that they finally finished a game in regulation last night? How nice was that?
That was their 4th regulation win of the season, number 4.
Yeah. So they have what, 4 overtime wins?
Yeah, because they had the shootout win just to start the season as well against Vancouver. So yeah, four
So
overtime shootout wins.
3 shootouts and 1 regular OT win,
Yeah.
which was the Ottawa one. Damn, that's crazy, man. I'm tired of staying up so late to watch this team lose in overtime or flub a shootout. But hey, they rewarded us with a regulation win on a Saturday night. So cheers, guys.
Yes, and that game against Ottawa, that was a no Couturier game. No Couturier, so Frost played. He was going to be a healthy scratch. So you had your centers were Frost, Paling, Lawton, and Cates, I think were the 4. So like the Flyers did not have a lot going there whatsoever. Got outshot 37-19, but won that one in overtime. And yeah, I mean, they haven't been in a shootout since we last recorded, but like this team's becoming a good shootout team. Sam Erson's good in the shootout. I mean, yeah, I mean, Fedotov beat the Lightning though. That's impressive there, given the skill they have. So, you know, the Flyers have been historically awful at shootouts, but maybe they're turning the corner. Yeah, even like looking at their advanced numbers in the past 11 games, they have the 6th worst expected goals for percent at 5-on-5 in that span in the league, and like. Last year, it's a far cry from last year when they had, I think, the 7th best overall in the season.
Top 10,
so, yeah, and yeah, just the Sharks game, they really dominated. For 62.23% of the expected goals for, 55% last night. So you know they're getting better, but that game against the Sens, I guess we can kind of throw out because Coots wasn't there, and it was just like awful.
Oh, I'm not throwing that one out. I was texting my friend and I'm like, oh, this has shades of the Wild game. Like 6 shots through 2 periods. Somehow they're going to find a way to close it out. And they did. We can't ignore that game because you already mentioned him. Morgan Frost was in for Sean Couturier. Guess who did like nothing?
Morgan Frost. That's his career summed up.
Brutal. I mean, and he was out again last night. Like,
yeah.
What like is he gonna play again? What's gonna happen there? But
no, let's get into it now. Let's get into the Morgan Frost discussion. Like he's been a healthy scratch now. Like Thomas wrote about like what a Morgan Frost trade would look like. I threw it out on social media over the weekend or last week. Like I want to see like a Frost plus for Zegras deal. Or something like that. Like Frost can thrive in a low pressure environment. That's when he had his best hockey was in the second half of that year. That didn't matter. He was a point per game player. There was no pressure. No one thought the Flyers were a tough team to play against. It was just, you know what, go out, do your thing. And if he goes somewhere else, new coach, they're just like, all right, go play and like play your game. Like he's skilled. He has skill. He can put up empty calorie points. Like,
yeah.
And will it be a guy like, oh, the Flyers should have kept him? Maybe, but he's had his chance here, and it's not going to work with Torts, and they're not getting rid of Torts.
Nope. Yeah, I feel like it has to be part of a package. I don't think anyone's going to 1-for-1 trade for Morgan Frost, and I don't want to move him for picks either. I think we're kind of past that point unless they're high picks, like 1st and 2nd round picks. I'm not really keen to trade someone like Morgan Frost for a 3rd. You know, I want players for that kind of deal.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, you have to get something. You have to get some sort of center back, even if it's a veteran center that like maybe has a bad contract. Somebody that can play minutes in the middle 6 that you can be like, all right, he's in the middle 6. Like back in whenever they got him, Valtteri Filppula at the deadline wasn't a good addition. You know, he played above his head, but he was a fine center. He's someone you could throw out there and you know have a consistent line and not have to move Ryan Paling up to the top 6.
Bring back Ryan Hartman.
Right. He's hurt. And he's a center now
Oh, is
somehow.
he? But he
Yeah,
is a
he's hurt.
setter. Yeah.
He's hurt.
Frost for Hartman.
Minnesota has a lot of injuries
They
actually.
do.
Zuccarello got hurt. I think Eriksson Ek is out for a bit. There've been rumors that they're interested in Joel Farabee and Bobby Brink. So could see a winger for center Marco Rossi trade, something like that, or those prospects you and Thomas were talking about. I don't remember exactly who they were.
I can't
something
remember
with an
names.
H. Help or something.
No. Height.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And wow, they have a lot of injuries. Shocking when you sign a bunch of guys over the age of 30 to really big contracts for long term. Great job, Garen. No, I'm tired of talking about Morgan Frost. He might turn it on, and that'll be great. But like, if he's just going to be a guy for 2 months who doesn't do anything every year, I don't really care to have him around, honestly. Unless there's someone on his line that can cover up for that. Like if Bobby Brink is like shot out of a cannon at the beginning of every year and can cover up for Morgan Frost's like lack of scoring for 2 months, great. But it doesn't sound like a cup contender to me.
No, it definitely doesn't. Doesn't even sound like a playoff team if you have Morgan Frost playing at that level. But I wrote it here in the sheet. I've been thinking about it. Like, could you just move Morgan Frost to wing? Like, I know we have left wing. I know we have too many wingers, not enough centers. But like, once Anthony Richard, once his magic falls off, if it ever falls off, send him back down. Put Frost on that line with Cates. I hate that line. The Richard, Cates, and Michkov line. Like I don't like Michkov being with those guys, but like maybe like a Frost, Cates, I don't know, Forster, something like that. But just something to get him going. Like they haven't tried that. I don't know if that's something they would consider, or if they want him to be a center, and he just might not be a center at this point. Kind of like Braden Shen, the guy he was traded for.
I think last year John Tortorella said like he's a center. He was asked this question. He was like, "Have you considered Morgan Frost at wing?" And he responded, "He's a center." Like, I don't think they're going to move him to wing. They consider him a center, and they don't see really any point to move him. And I don't know if that actually helps Morgan Frost. Like his issue is pace. Like he's gotten much better defensively over the past like year and a half. He's still doing like the details and stuff a lot better than he was when he was younger, but he can't score, and he's a scoring guy. I don't think moving him to wing is going to help him.
It would just reset him and be like, all right, these are my responsibilities now. I don't have to worry about the defense maybe too much or whatever. Like, put him on the fourth line left wing, like Forster is now. Put him with Poehling and Hathaway. Let him forecheck. Let him cycle. Let him see if getting some physicality into his game could get something going. I know he's a smaller guy, but like, you got to do something. He's not big. I mean, he's
6'1".
Well, he's tallish, but he's slim.
Oh,
he's 6 foot. Yeah,
he's 6 foot 193. Okay,
that's small to me.
Okay, well,
and to you.
By 1 inch. I don't know if that would make too much of a difference. In skates, he's taller than me. Let's go with that.
Yeah. But...
no, it's time. Maybe not right now, but this year should be it.
Do we think he gets back into the lineup this week? Like they have a game Monday, Wednesday, Saturday.
If they lose,
Richard's looked good. He was on the top power play or second power play. He was out there at some point. Like
6 points in 5 games for Tony Dick.
Yeah, and him and Bobby Brink had a goal and assist each in that Ottawa game. Like
sure did. Got them back in it.
Yeah, I think I looked at the advanced numbers last night though, or when I got home last night, and I was like, Bobby Brink's numbers were awful last night. Let me pull them up right here. Yeah, 2 shot attempts for and 13 against. That's the Farabee Brink Lawton line. Maybe it's time to break that one up a little bit.
Yeah. I think so.
So you think it's just if they keep winning, if they keep getting points, so he'll stay out?
I mean, if they go on a 10-game win streak, I don't think they're going to sit him for the entirety of a 10-game win streak. Also, with this team's injury luck, he could just draw back in anyway. Should we shift to the injury conversation?
I just want to talk about. But I want to talk about this Farabee Lawton Brink line right now because According to Money Puck, they are the second most used Flyers line this season, 61 minutes. Their expected goals percentage is 39.7. They've been outscored 5-2. So they're not getting actual results. They're not getting expected results. I don't know why Tortorella is insistent on keeping this line together when everything else is moving. Like, I want consistency, but if you're going to be consistently bad, that's not the consistency you want.
No. So what do? Do you move Farabee up? Like, I'd probably do.
Maybe, maybe put like
that might be part of why it's still together. What's the better option? Like, what are you gonna do with these guys? This is kind of like the well, I don't know what to do with you line, and they're just kind of together by default.
I could go with like a Forster, 𝙏𝙒𝙄𝙏𝙏𝙏𝙀𝙏, and then then Richard, Lautenbrink, and Farabee, 𝙏𝙀𝙏𝙏𝙏𝙀, drop Farabee down, like, because the quote unquote fourth line is rarely the fourth most used line on the Flyers. It's used a lot, and it's responsible enough. Hathaway is a great fourth liner, Poehling as well, Forster down there right now, but yeah, I feel like, especially if you get Frost back, you have to break up that line.
Yeah, probably.
Or if there's an injury to a forward, because there are a lot of injuries going around.
I'm surprised. I'm surprised. And Tony Dick. Sorry, Anthony Richard. I'm surprised he finished the Ottawa game, because he took like a hard hit and looked hurt, and then took another hard hit and looked hurt, and then finished the game, came back in Buffalo. But no, sorry, continue. There are a bunch of injuries.
There are a bunch of injuries, and Owen Tippett last night left the game for some time with a. I don't know if you. You watched the broadcast. I don't know. Was it to his shoulder? What did it look like? Like a head injury?
So it looked. Oh, it's kind of tough to see, but like it looked like it was shoulder to shoulder, but in such a way that Tippett's head like snapped around, and like kind of caught him. It didn't look like an intentionally like it didn't look like the Ryan Reeves hit. I'll tell you.
Well, no, it looked like it was just like a collision. No one had any like ill intent there. It was just an unexpected hit, and your body's not braced for it. So,
and it looked like the Sabres player was trying to shift out of the way, but then like Tippett was already skating that direction, so it was just a broken, messy play. I'm surprised they didn't pull him out for concussion protocol. He was on the bench right after.
But then he went up the tunnel. So I don't know.
They must have done concussion protocol and not said anything on the broadcast.
Because I was watching the bench and I saw him go up the tunnel. I was like, oh, let me keep an eye on that, see if he gets back at all. And he was back, and a few shifts later, maybe. I don't know. It was a decent bit, but yeah. Luckily he finished the game. Sean Couturier is back, but he missed the Ottawa game. Was apparently like a game time decision or questionable for Saturday's game. So he might be battling something. He's had back history, core surgery. So
still looks pretty good though.
Still look good. Hopefully he stays healthy. But the defense and goaltending is really where it's at. Emil Andre didn't play in the last half of the third period on Saturday night, and
no updates.
Brad Shaw had no updates here on Sunday after practice. Cam York did practice, according to PHLY's Charlie O'Connor, and but Jamie Drysdale practiced as well in a blue jersey. So,
is that non-contact?
Probably, or like just some. I kind of speculate that Drysdale could play if they needed him, but right now they're not going to sit Erik Johnson. They're going to play him a few more games, especially for his ceremony Monday. Zamula's playing fine. And if York is ready to come back for Andre, they have their six.
They're fine. Also, I don't remember the exact date that Drysdale went on to injured reserve. I don't know if they can't bring him back until it's 7 days after the date they put him on it.
He could return tomorrow. It looks like.
Okay.
The 18th. Yeah.
Okay. I would imagine York is back first, just because he's been out longer and looks like he's closer to ready. Erik Johnson's playing tomorrow for sure, because he's going to have his 1,000 game celebration.
And he's been fine. Like I have no complaints about Erik Johnson. Like it's not like a Keith Yandle situation where he had some awful plays. Like He's fine. He's a fine seventh defenseman that has to play third pair minutes due to injury.
Yeah, I'm totally content with that. Yeah. He's also a good interview. I like his post game interviews are usually pretty good. He's got a sense of humor to him.
And how about him getting 2/3 of the Gordie Howe hat trick in the first period, the Sharks game? I guess we talked about that before, but like I just wanted to bring it up again. The big fight for Michkov there.
Couldn't get him an assist. Way to go, boys! Yeah. Really,
I was hoping he would get a empty netter last night too, but
yeah, that would have been real nice.
Would have been cool.
But anyway, the injuries. Emil Andre is the one I'm most concerned about because he's been playing quite well, and it's a real bummer. If they're just being more precautionary than anything, then that's fine by me. It sounds like with York and Drysdale and Ersson too, they are just not like taking any kind of risks with injuries. Coots was banged up a bit. They took him out for a game. Like, this is good. They need these guys to be healthy in 5 years, and winning an extra game here in November is not like worth the potential for seriously injuring themselves. So it is kind of what it is, and it helps the Flyers because they can keep kicking down the decision of who they're going to send back to the AHL. They can keep kicking that down the road. And if Andre's going to miss time, you can't send an injured player down to the Phantoms, as we all very well know from last spring when Ryan Johansson joined this team. I wonder where that's at. We haven't heard any updates lately, but yeah, they can. If Andre's put onto injured reserve, they can kick it even further down the road.
Yeah, and it's not a situation where you're crying for one of these guys to come out of the lineup. Like maybe Samula or Johnson have a few bad games and you want them out, but yeah, and it's not like there's people in the AHL that you want to call up if they have too many injuries. Like who would be the call up if York isn't ready and Andre is hurt? Who would it be?
McDonald? No, I don't know.
Or probably Gleason, right? The defenseman they traded Adard for,
or Ginning,
or our good friend Louis Belpedio. We talked about last podcast.
Sure,
or Ginning. Yeah, Ginning was solid last year. He was fine. Left hand shot.
We'd have to ask the Phantoms expert, Matty Campbell.
We do, yeah.
Who is most likely. But yeah, I think it's probably. I would hope it's Ginning, just because like he's getting older and wasn't going to be here, but he played well enough last year to earn a new contract. Like maybe see what you got. Like this is it. Let's see what we can do with him.
Yeah, and it looks like York's going to be back. Just place him on the top pair with Sanheim. Go steal Aristo, Zamula Johnson, and that's what you got for a few games here until either Andre's ready to come back, Drysdale's ready to come back, or something changes there. But yeah, Sam Ersson had pictures taken the other day.
Sure did.
He tweaked the same thing as before, so he's likely out 1 to 2 weeks, according to Kevin Kurz, a tweet from Friday there. So at least out until this Saturday against the Blackhawks, potentially next week as well. They play 3 games this week. Next week they have Vegas at Nashville, and then the Black Friday game. So yeah. But
look, I was gonna say I hate seeing Ersson injured, but like, you've got 2 goalies you need to figure out real quick. And Fedotov is now on a 3-game win streak and has put together 2. I would call the Ottawa game a pretty good performance. And I'd say the Buffalo game was pretty good too. Like you might actually have your backup here. And then there's Kolosov, who he should get at least 1, maybe 2 games before Ersson's ready to come back. Because you just got to be like, man, do we send this guy back down to the Phantoms so he can keep practicing? Are we going to have to loan him back to Dynamo Minsk? Like, what's going to happen here?
Yeah, I think they'll probably carry 3 goalies even if Ersson does come back. But yeah, they should get Kolosov back in a game. And Fedotov's looked a lot better ever since he went on that long break after having 2 awful games to start the season. We were writing him off after 5 NHL games in total, if that. And like, sure, you can do that sometimes, but there's a reason the Flyers tried so hard to get him over here. There's a reason he was so highly regarded in the KHL, had good numbers over there. So I haven't watched him too closely, but yeah, he's been going into the butterfly more easily, which is closing up that 5 hole. he does still flop around a bit
I
too
was
much.
gonna
And
say,
he leaves the crease way too much. Like if he could just stay in the blue paint, he'd be a much better goalie.
does he fall down a lot more than other goaltenders, or is it just me? Like every time a puck hits him, he just like football like falls onto his back or something, and then he's scrambling. I'm like, does he have balance issues or something? Like, can he not stay upright on his knees that well? Because I feel like he's always falling over.
I mean, his center of gravity is higher than everyone else, so he does have
I
a little
guess.
bit higher, a little bit more of an issue there. But yeah, he hasn't had any egregious goals allowed in the past 3 starts, right? Like,
No,
I'm trying to
he's
think.
not. He's not standing on his toes anymore.
No, no, he's making the saves he has to make. You know,
Yeah.
a little bit scary sometimes with that flopping, but I'm like, I wasn't scared with him in net going into the game last night. I was like, all right, this might be a high scoring game, but they can win this one.
Yeah, and it was a high scoring game for the Flyers.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do hope Kolosov gets a start. I'm happy to ride with Fedotov for now. I imagine, I mean, the Avs are tomorrow. I think you ride the hot hand and start Fedotov. And if he's getting shelled, which the Avalanche have like all of their players back now except for Landeskog.
Which could be a bad thing early on because they get trying to find chemistry with Drouin back. With well, Lekkonen's been back for a few games now, but Chuskin's only played 1 game, so they just lost to the Caps, I believe, at home. So only had 19 shots in that one. So Flyers could be catching them at a good spot. They caught the Sabres at a good spot. No Luukkonen, no Tage Thompson, so that was a much easier game than we thought.
Sure was. We did predict it was going to be a loss, didn't we?
Yes, we did. Yes, we did.
Yeah, but yeah, when Ersson returns, I think you're right. They carry 3 on if they have the roster spots, but that depends on the defense. And if everybody gets healthy at the same time, then you have some real questions. Like, can you send Anthony Richard down right now? I don't think so. He's playing pretty well. I know his like underlying statistics aren't great, but points are points.
Well, they would have to send someone down to activate Drysdale, right? Unless they place Andre on the IR and activate Drysdale.
Well, Ersson, I don't think is even on IR yet. So they would just have to backdate Ersson onto IR, and then they can activate someone, I think.
And figure out how that like affects the cap and banking space and whatnot. But yeah, until they have to, I'm gonna say this, I don't think Kolosov is going back to the KHL. I don't think that's even a thought right now. I don't think it's a threat. He looks, I mean, he's not showing it, but he looks great on the bench in that hat. I love the hair. I love his look on the bench.
He's with the team. I think that's really what he wanted, is like, I'm coming over to be in the NHL. Yep. And he's in the NHL. He might not be getting games right now, but like, he's getting reps with the NHL squad. He's got the NHL goalie coaches. He's got some Russian friends now, right? Like Fedotov and Michkov.
I heard the Flyers got him connecting rooms so he has 2 rooms he can be in instead of being locked only in one in Allentown. So double the space now. But
they added a leash. They added an extension to the handcuffs to the radiator.
Yeah, it's got one of the extendo leashes that you can get for your dogs. Yeah, just
exactly.
They built him a patio out back he can go on to get some outside time.
But he's got to crawl through the door.
But no, and I think the big thing is he's getting NHL money. Like we don't think about that for most of these players, but for someone who grew up in Belarus, I don't know how much he was making in the KHL, but I think he's making $800,000 here in the NHL, and it would have been like $100,000 in the AHL. So for someone like that, he probably wants to support his family, set himself up for the future. So I understand if he would be upset about that after, maybe being promised that he would have an NHL spot.
I mean, it's an ELC, so it's $925. That's the standard ELC.
Only $925. No, I don't need that.
No, definitely not. Cool. That's the goalies.
It's the goalies.
Do we want to talk about
this section, the Travi here? I mean, you got your Konechny prediction, your Sanheim points here. Take it away.
I need everyone to know I am a witch. Like truly, I swear I've got like a sixth sense for this. I said TK is going to pace for 100 points this season. He might not get there because he might not play all 82 games. But Gilbs, can you tell the good people what is Travis Konechny's point pace right now?
He currently has 11 goals and 11 assists for 22 points in 18 games. That's
Uh-huh.
1.22222 repeating points per game. If you multiply that by 82, it is 100.22 repeating. So just over pacing for 100 points right now.
That's
And
still 100. That's still 100, baby.
yeah.
He's at 2 points per game over the last 6 too, which is that's pretty good. It's pretty good.
He's a great player. He's a top, easily 30 winger in the league, I would say. I mean,
I think he's
potentially
like top
even
20 right now.
higher than that. Yeah, I mean, points wise, he's really up there. So yeah, Konechny. And last night after the goal from Michkov fed him, and Zach Benson tried to give Michkov a little hip check there. Immediately goes at him. Like, I was at the game, I didn't know what happened. I was like, all right, scrum, let's go, whatever. And then I got home, I watched the replay. I was like, oh, that's fucking bitch shit right there. So good for Konechny for sticking up for Michkov. And Tortorella was asked about it after the game. He was like, this is a great room. I'm not surprised. No one has to say anything. It just happens.
My favorite part of that, Zach Benson is a prospect that I was quite high on going into the 2023 draft. And he was picked a few picks after Matvei Michkov. He's also only like 5'8". He's small. So it was very funny to see both these two 2023 draft picks, both undersized, skilled forwards going at it like that. That was fun. I'd also just like to say that with 11 goals, Travis Konechny is tied for 3rd in the league in goal scoring.
It's not too bad. Not too shabby, right
there. The others with 11. Oh my God. You ready for this list? The others with 11. Tage Thompson.
Okay.
Kyle Connor.
All right.
Artemi Panarin. Oh, no, sorry. Panarin has 10. Sorry. Tage Thompson, Kyle Connor, Nikita Kucherov, and Kirill Kaprizov all have 11 goals apiece with Travis Konechny.
Flyers fans would be just foaming at the mouth to get their hands on any of those other names besides Travis Konechny.
Yep. With 12, we have Cole Caulfield, Connor McMichael, William Nylander, and Mikko Rantanen. And then with 13, for first in the league, we have Leon Draisaitl on a tie with Sam Reinhart.
Sam Reinhart is going off. I mean, he got paid. He won the cup, and he wants the Rocket Richard this year. Austin Matthews is not scoring. He was hurt for a bit, so I think he's still hurt. I think he's still out.
He's still out, I think.
Yeah, Sam Reinhart wants that trophy.
I want to see Nikita Kucherov do it. Like, he's already got all the other hardware. Just give him the. I don't think he's won the Rocket Richard, right? So that would be that'd be fun.
And Konechny tied for 49th with those 16. Or no, he has 22 points, right?
Yeah.
So he is tied for 14th with Connor and Jack Hughes. So
love that for him.
That's
what if Konechny wins the Rocket Richard this year? People are saying.
Many people are saying that Travis.
Many people are saying
could win the Rocket Richard.
That Travis Konechny is going to win the Rocket Richard. That's true.
Put Michkov back on his line, please.
Well, they're both right wings. That makes it tricky.
One of them can shift. Konechny can shift to the left.
He didn't like that though. I think he went on this scoring tear after he moved back to the right wing.
So, he probably did.
Probably did. Hey, just get that power play running again. You might be all right.
Yeah. So right now, would you say that Travis Konechny is the most valuable player on this team, or is there a even more valuable Travis on this team?
I gotta say, Travis Sanheim might have him beat. Like, with the number of injuries to the defense, the rotating partners, like, he's played with pretty much everyone on this team now except for Nick Seeler and Eric Johnson. I think those are the only, and Zamula maybe, are the only guys that have not been on Sanheim's pair. Everybody else has. Risto, Drysdale, York. He's been Andre. He's just been outstanding. I don't know if he can do this for the entire year, especially playing 27 plus minutes a night. Like, it's not sustainable to do that, I don't think. But man, is he just killing it right now. It's the only thing that was ever standing in Travis Sanheim's way was Ivan Provorov. Like, that was the big hurdle to cross.
Yeah, Sanheim's been unbelievable last night. Tortorella talked about it. Thomas wrote it up on broadsthockey.com that he wants Travis Sanheim to get some consideration for Team Canada in the
Yeah.
upcoming Four Nations face-off. And yeah, he deserves it. He is averaging 25-17 per game, fifth in the league behind Seth Jones, Zach Werenski, Roman Josi, and Mikhail Sergachev there. So, and he's playing, yeah, like you said, he's been playing with a bunch of different partners. 100 minutes with Risto, 100 with York, and 60 with Drysdale and Andre. So playing left side, playing right side. No power play time, but the penalty kill has been amazing. He's one of their most important penalty killers, and there's been very few games where you're like, "What are you doing, Sanheim?" Because there used to be some goals where you were like, "Why aren't you defending?" But there's much less of them now.
That lack of power play time makes this next stat even more incredible. Travis Sanheim, among defensemen, is tied for second most goals in the league with someone we saw last night, Rasmus Dahlin. The only other defenseman with more goals and points than Travis Sanheim right now is 𝙏𝙗𝙀𝙏𝙏𝙀𝙏. Like,
wait, points or goals?
Both. 5+ goals and 10+ points, I think, is the defenseman stat.
Okay.
Broad Street Hockey tweeted that one out last night. So he's tied with goals with Rasmus Dahlin with 5, and then the only other player in the league with the same 5 or more goals and 10 or more points is 𝙏𝙗𝙀𝙀𝙏.
Makar has 6. Yeah, Makar has 6. Makar has 19 assists, so he's insane. Yeah, Sanheim only 6 assists, which is surprising given. Yeah, it's even more impressive that he plays 25 minutes a night, not on the power play. So those are all heavy minutes, penalty kill against the team's top opposition.
Even
and
strength. Yeah,
he's one of the team's best expected goals 4%. Relative at 5-on-5 is plus 9.68, behind only Emil Andre and Cam York, who are both playing with him and have smaller sample sizes, and Sean Couturier. So yeah, he's everything you could have asked about. And, I feel like Flyers fans really need to thank Torrey Krug.
Yep. Man, I see people still being like, they should have tanked. What? And I'm like, can you imagine if they did not, or if they had completed that Travis Sanheim trade? Like, Torrey Krug is a fine player when he's playing. He's missing this entire season. But he wasn't going to move the needle the way Travis Sanheim's play did last year to put this team into a playoff push. Like, he's fine. Krug is fine, but not good enough to be doing what Sanheim did for half of last season and is doing right now. This team would have tanked if Sanheim wasn't here last season and wasn't here now. Like, they tried to quote unquote tank by being competitive, but not happening now.
Yeah, and we didn't even mention how Sanheim's contract's going to look at the top when we talked about the cap hits. He has what, 6.25? I'm trying to look around on Puckpedia where that ranks among defensemen right now. Can't really, not sure with Puckpedia's interface, but that's a great thing right now. And he's completely played himself out of the conversation of being traded. Like, he's in that Scott Lawton camp where a team would have to just completely overwhelm the Flyers. And he has no trade clause, so he does not want to go anywhere. I also saw that his partner, wife, I think they're married now, posted a picture with Danny Briere's partner and Sean Couturier's wife. So, like, they're pretty tight there. I don't think Sanheim's going to trade it at all.
Nope. And if he keeps playing like this for the next 2 years, when his contract becomes a modified no trade clause, a 12-team no trade clause, I don't think they trade him then either.
No.
If the cap's gone up that much and he's still playing pretty well, like, he's just going to be like your veteran defenseman, your rock. Like, fine. I'm into it. And if a team is going to trade for him, they're going to have to give up a lot. So works out well for the Flyers in any situation.
Yeah, so right now, if you had to vote for the Flyers MVP, the Flyers Team Awards, if you had a vote, who would you vote for, and who do you think would win it right now? I still think it would be Konechny to win it right now, but Sanheim definitely has a case.
Sanheim's going to get the three-peat of the most improved, the three-peat of the
he keeps getting better. I mean, if he keeps getting better, he keeps getting better. He gamed the system. He was like, all right, I'm going to be complete shit, get slightly better each year and just rack up these trophies and put them on my mantle.
But genuinely, who else could win that right now? Like, if Jamie Drysdale turns it around, obvious choice, obvious candidate. Like Bobby Brink, maybe if he turns it around. I don't
Bobby
know,
Brink
man.
has 8 points in 15 games at 23 points last year. Like, yeah, I mean, someone else has to turn it on. We've been talking about it for so many shows now. Tippett has 9 points. Brink has 8. Farabee has 8. Most of those are assists, like for all those guys. Lawton only has 2 goals, and that was a 2-goal game. Like, they need more scoring from someone besides Konechny and Sanheim. Like, that just is what it is.
Hey, Tyson Forrester got a goal yesterday. Needed that.
He did. He jamming away there. Yeah, looking at shooting percentages, Morgan Frost 3.4, Tippett 5.7. Farabee shooting 9.7%. Like, so he's just not shooting enough.
Nope.
Brink 11.5, Forster 12%, but Forster's playing more of a bottom 6 role, I think, right now anyway, than I would have liked.
I thought he played his way up last night. Like, he played his way into some more usage yesterday.
I'm not. I mean, he very well could have. I'm not exactly sure. Let me look at the forward lines. I was like, but yeah, I think he's. I really want to see him and Michkov together. I don't know if that has even happened at all yet, right?
Limited stuff, I think. I've been pushing for that pairing for ages. I think they'd be really good together, but
yeah,
I guess Torts disagrees.
Well, they haven't played 10 minutes with the same center, so they're not on the money puck list. So, but yeah, it's maybe he thinks Forster's too slow, but like maybe you need someone speedy with Michkov. Michkov slows the game down. Like, I feel like a Forster, what Frost can be, and Michkov line could do decent, or even Forster, Paling and Michkov. You got a shooter, you got a two-way speedster, and you got a playmaker. Like, that feels like it would make sense. Yeah. But no, you got to keep that Lawton, Farabee, Brink line together, and just play everyone else.
It is what it is. But yeah, no, I think Konechny would still be the MVP at this point, and is on track to be, unless Sam Ersson just comes back and turns into Connor Hellebuck for the next 5 months. But
I mean, he could. He turned into Connor Hellebuck for 2 months last year, so
sure did.
Maybe he's going to save that 2 months for April and May, and he'll make a Stanley Cup run.
Oh baby, can you imagine? That'd be hilarious. But yeah, so shout out to Torrey Krug. Get well soon. Yeah. Thank you for not being a Philadelphia Flyer.
Yeah. All right, moving on to our next topic. We've already kind of talked about it, but just the defense. Let's just say in a perfect world, everyone gets healthy. Andre's healthy, playing at this level. York's back. Drysdale's back. Who do you sit? What are the pairs? Like, you obviously put not together. Sanheim, York, Ristolainen, Andre, Drysdale. Well, Sealer and Drysdale. Like that's your 6, right?
I think so. So that's out is Zamula and Johnson.
Yeah.
Right.
That would mean. Would they send Zamula down though? I don't know if
he played well last night too, I thought.
Well, they can't send Andre back down.
Nope.
Do they rush a Risto trade? Do they?
I think they just let it ride.
Do they flip Drysdale for a center? Or do they carry 8 defensemen?
Trade Drysdale? Are you kidding me?
I don't know.
Get out of here with this. No team wants.
Didn't Torts say he'd rather carry 5 defensemen than carry 8 or something like that
on a road trip? I don't think that.
Okay, so he doesn't want to do it for the whole season. That includes road trips and homestands.
They were running 11-7 for like 2 months last year. I don't think carrying an 8th defenseman would be that wild for him.
Okay, then what forward? You send Richard back down,
or Kolosov,
or Kolosov, or Fedotov. Oh my God, I still wouldn't send Fedotov down.
Not if he keeps playing like this.
Maybe they trade Delorier to like a team that needs a fighter just to get a roster spot.
No, they like him too much.
They like everyone too much now. That's the issue.
I don't know, man. Maybe they do rush a trade of someone that like we don't see coming. But like I
That
don't
could,
know. We talk about this like they're gonna have to make this decision, but every time it looks like they're gonna have to do this, someone gets hurt, and we're like, well, guess we don't have to think about this now.
yeah, but it's a good thought experiment. It's good to
Sure.
speculate what you might do there. But yeah, I think if that's a situation, whoever they send down, whoever they make it fit, you go York Sanheim up top,
Yep.
or do you go Andre Sanheim and then York Risto, that pair you love so much? Because
Oh,
then you have Sealer Drysdale is the third pair, no matter what. But you have those four to mix and match.
I like Sealer Risto. York Risto. I do want to see that reunited. I want to see them back together. Oof. Drysdale Sealer on the third pair.
Mm-hmm.
I could be down with that because he needs even more sheltered minutes to work with.
Yeah.
So yeah, sure. That works for me. You'll get no arguments from me.
Yeah. All right. Let's close it out here a little bit with Matvei Michkov, the man himself, the magician, the player that is making Philadelphia hockey exciting again here. First and foremost, please get him at least one real line mate. I know Anthony Richard's on fire right now. I know Michkov is on a 4-game point streak with two 2-point games there, but come on, he's working on the power play well, but give him some sort of skill on his line. That's all I ask for.
I don't really care in the short term.
Like,
whatever. It works. It's working right now. Let it play out.
All right, it's working. They're winning. Whatever. Yeah.
Let it play out. When it stops, look. I know people are like, "Oh, Torts is too blah blah blah." Guess what? He changes the lines when things stop working out.
That's true.
He's moved Michkov all over the lineup, and I don't mind him playing on the third line right now because that's like sheltered minutes, and he can just feast on the like lower lines of other teams.
Yeah.
Let it ride until it's not working anymore. And I have confidence that Torts will recognize when it's not working and change things up.
Yeah, Torts is right there on the bench. He knows what he wants each line to do. So as long as they're getting that done, he'll keep them together. So yeah, that's fine. Trusting Torts is kind of scary at times, but
yeah,
it's whatever. It's what we have to do at this point. So a little bit.
I was gonna say for the most part, Torts has like earned it. Like he keeps talking about you got to earn it. I'm like, generally speaking, he's kind of earned the trust. Like he seems to know what he's doing. It's almost like he's been doing this for like 4 decades. Maybe not.
Yeah, a counterpoint to that. Like I agree with that, but just like a counterpoint is like, is it just Brad Shaw making Sanheim better, making York better, making Risto better? Because like the only forward that's taken a huge step is Konechny, and he's a first-round pick. He's a great player already. I know he's like kind of found another gear, another side of his game with Torts, but like so far this year, small sample size, yes. No one else has really done much.
Is that Torts or is that Rocky Thompson not being very good at his job? Like, if you're going to give Brad Shaw credit for the defenseman, you can't like blame Torts for the forwards without talking about Rocky Thompson.
I don't know how the inner workings of the team are, but I feel like we're getting into like an Eagles conversation, and we're doing like, okay, the coordinators are doing offense and defense. What does Nick Sirianni even do, or like what does John Tortorella even do? But
well, I was going to say again, if you believe that, I mean, Torts is the one who's giving deployments. He's telling which players get out on the ice, and he clearly trusts these defensemen. Like, you know, I know.
Yeah,
I know you're just I know it's just for argument's sake, but like. For the most part,
I'm trying to create some spicy tent here, Joe. I can't be like, oh yeah, I agree with you. Moving on.
Like and subscribe at Broad Street Hockey for the tangiest tent on the internet.
Yeah. But yeah, Matvei Michkov is now the odds-on favorite for the Calder Trophy at our friends at Bet Online, -125. So implied odds there of I want to say like 55%, 55.56% implied there. Logan Stankoven is next at 225. Celebrini 475. So Michkov is the leader in the clubhouse right now. Stankoven could keep piling up points though with an impressive Stars team, but
he's finally on the top power play unit too, so he's got a real opportunity to feast. But I don't know, team's pretty stacked. If Wyatt Johnston figures it out, he's back on that top unit, so we'll see.
Yeah, the Stars. Who's their coach? Is it
DeBoer?
DeBoer. Yeah, DeBoer moves his guys around a decent amount. So Stankoven plays top, plays third line. So
Stankoven's up and down at 5-on-5, but he only just got onto the first power play unit like this past week.
Okay, all right. Well,
because Johnston has basically shit the bed for some reason. He's having the same struggles that like Tyson Forrester did or is.
Wyatt Johnston's really young too, right?
He is.
Yeah, so I mean, he played a lot of hockey last year. He's 21. They played deep into the playoffs, so yeah, I mean, he could easily
he'll turn it around.
Be feeling that still. But yeah, maybe DeBoer saw Michkov go on a tear. He's like, all right, I gotta get my boy Stank on the top power play, and I gotta get my Stankoven bets in there.
Yeah.
Yeah. I do have a tinfoil hat theory with Michkov's scratchings. I feel like he might just have been battling something, little nagging injury, and they don't have. There's so much things that aren't disclosed in the NHL with injuries that it just may have been like, you know what, let's keep you out. Let's do whatever. Like, I don't know if it was a truly healthy scratch. And as we talked about before, like he had pneumonia last year. He only played 49 games. Like we want him to rest now at times rather than hitting a wall and needing a week, 2 weeks off, if that, in like February, March, which he'll get with the Four Nations break at least.
True. Yeah. True. Yeah. I'm just glad I see you've got it written here that he's got 6 goals, 9 points. Nice.
6 goals, 9 assists, 15 points in 16 games there. Yeah. It's a nice start. Nice start.
6-9. It's a nice start. Nice start. Yeah. Speaking of games, should we do our predictions for the next games, or do you want to do the draft lottery spin first?
Oh no, let's do the upcoming games here. Yeah, we'll do the upcoming games first. We have Monday night at home against Colorado.
Dollar Dog night.
Dollar Dog night. So go down there if you're missing out. Dollar Dogs. Do not throw any on the ice, please.
Please don't.
Wednesday night at home against the Hurricanes. It's a 7:30 game on TNT. Saturday 1:00 matinee against Chicago. And we're not going to predict this one, but next Monday at home against Vegas to close out the homestand there.
Right.
Listen to the Flyers 5 with Steve 𝙏𝙏𝙏𝙏. It drops on Monday to get more information about these opponents here. He does a good job of summarizing it. So predictions here. Colorado game. I'm going to go with a 6-4 loss.
Did we predict this one on the last episode?
We did because we weren't sure if we were recording today or Tuesday. And I think I said like 6-2 or something before.
I think I said like 6-2 or something. I'm going to stick with that. Whatever I said in the last show, I'm sticking with that. It's going to be a lot of goals for the Avs.
Yeah. And then Wednesday they got the Hurricanes, who right now Frederik Andersen is out relatively long term, I believe. Peter Tkachuk is at least day to day. They do play later this evening, so Tkachuk's playing today, so Tkachuk will probably play Wednesday. So he's still .897 save percentage this year for Carolina.
Not great.
It was a 6-4 game down in Carolina to start that road trip. Probably see a lower scoring game here. I think like a 4-1 loss.
I don't know. I mean, are the Canes playing on a back-to-back that day or no?
No. They played last night. They play tonight, and then they're off till Wednesday.
Okay. 4-3 Canes
overtime. Okay. All right. Yeah. And then the Saturday matinee featuring the best player from the 2023 NHL draft and also Connor Bedard.
See what
I did there.
Shots fired, Chicago fans.
The Flyers get the win here. Chicago's been really bad recently. They've won one of their past 5 games. They've only scored 1 goal in regulation in each of their past 5 games. So, you know what? 4-0 Flyers win. Calling it right now.
Seth Jones is on IR and Taylor Hall was benched. Things are not good in Chicago.
Oof. Yeah.
Oof is right.
You hate to see it for Chicago. Such a stand-up franchise there.
Such a stand-up franchise. No, I think the Flyers I think you're right. They're going to win it, or they're just going to shit the bed, or as the Flyers once tweeted, shit the beach. I'm going to say 3-1 Flyers because they get lazy and play down to their opponent.
Yeah, in those matinee games, it's either like the Wild game where they won 7-5 or the Bruins one where they lost 3-0. It's either, like you said, it's either crazy or there's nothing going on. It's just like a sleepy game there.
Yep.
All right, let's set up the NHL Draft Lottery Simulator. But before that,
oh, go ahead.
Before that, let's look at the playoff picture currently.
Oh,
in the Eastern
that's what
Conference.
I was going to say. It feels a little weird to do a draft lottery when the Flyers are like not quite as far in the basement as they used to be.
And the Metro, you got the Devils, or by point percentage, you have the Canes, then the Caps, then the Rangers, then the Devils. Then you got your Philadelphia Flyers right there at a 500 point percentage, along with the Islanders. The Bruins have the other wild card spot at 500, along with the Rangers. So Flyers are a point from a playoff spot right now. 2 points from they could be in a playoff spot on Thanksgiving after their horrid start, which
they
would be crazy. So
it's the parody era. What can we say?
It is the parody era of the NHL. Let me share my screen here. Get the Tankathon NHL Draft Lottery Simulator.
Or Nashville, man.
All right. Yeah. Flyers down here at the 12th best odds, 2.5% at they can't even get number 1 anymore at 12 here. They can only move up 10 spots. They can go up to 2. Colorado here at 15. They can get up to 5. And Edmonton is in the playoff picture and going to be in the playoff picture. So hopefully they don't win the cup.
Yep. I hope so too, because I don't like them.
All right.
Here we
go.
Nothing.
Right. Flyers stay at 12. Yeah. Sounds about right. Is that what do they have? They had 13 last year.
They traded back to 13.
So they had 12 last year.
They had 12 last year.
Everything's the same. History repeats itself here.
Everything changes. Everything stays the same.
Yeah. So Sharks move up. Blackhawks move down from 1 to 2. You hate to see that.
No. Nashville.
No? Oh, Nashville moved down too.
Nashville was number 1, and then San Jose won first overall, and Chicago won second, and Nashville ended up at 3.
Yes.
The poor Predators, man. Such an exciting offseason, and they are just...
I think the Flyers should try to trade with the Preds. I feel like that could be a situation where Morgan Frost could go down there. I don't really know what their cap situation is or if they could afford him, but Risto could potentially go there.
I don't know if they need Risto, but they definitely need Frost or some kind of center in that vein. I mean, their cap situation's fine, actually.
Their defense is not. I mean, they have Yossi and Shea as their 2 top guys, and after that, I mean,
Shea has been a disappointment for them. What? This is Luke Schenn slander.
Maybe you trade Risto, get Luke Schenn back, bring him home, bring the Mr. 1000 home.
Wow, can you imagine? And then when you trade Eric Johnson at the deadline, you just have Luke Schenn for next season.
Yeah, there you go. Crazy. There you go. But also, there is a former top prospect or current top prospect in Columbus, a defenseman, David Jiricek, that apparently is not really fitting too well in Columbus. Thomas also wrote that this morning from broadsthockey. A lot of a Sunday morning tent there from Thomas on why trading for David Jiricek can make sense for the Flyers. Make sure you like and subscribe here to read that. But I'd be all for it. He was drafted 1 pick after Gauthier, correct?
Yep, he's who they should have picked.
Was he your guy for that draft? I did not do any research for that
draft. I wanted a defenseman, whoever was left of the defenseman, because the other one was Simon Nemec, who the Devils took at second.
Yeah,
and I was like, they need a defenseman. Pick whichever of the defenseman is left at 5, or Logan Cooley. But I didn't think Logan Cooley was going to get that far. So,
do you think much of Korchinski or Michkov were also taken there in the top 10? Or was there like a clear tier of defensemen there?
I think it was pretty clear. Gauthier was like not even considered to be that highly regarded. He was like a a lot of places had him in the teens or like 9th overall at the highest. So like him going 5 was a bit of a surprise, bit of a reach. But no, I didn't do a ton of draft research. That was one of the first years I was really like interested in that. But I just was like, this team needs a defenseman. Why are you getting a shooting winger? Like, but I was fully on board afterwards because I was like, name rules. This will be fun.
Yeah.
That went well.
With Jiricek, one of the things I believe Thomas throws out is potentially trading Bonk plus for him, or I think that was something somebody commented on social media, which I don't know if it's just a duplicative player there. It's kind of why they didn't get Z, because they have Andre and Drysdale. Like, do they trade Columbus? Could they have Columbus take Risto to get a veteran presence in there? And like,
well, they
maybe then Columbus flips Risto. I'm not sure.
Well, they have plenty of that. Damon Severson is the same age as Risto.
Yeah.
Ivan Provorov is there. Eric Goodbranson. They just claimed Dante Fabro. Jack Johnson is your veteran. Like, Jack freaking Johnson is on this team, man. I don't think they need Risto as veteran defensive presence. Like, you're talking about how we have 8 defensemen. They have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and Goodbranson is 9 on injured reserve.
Jeez.
Like, yeah. And then at forward, though,
could they be a fit for maybe Morgan Frost and a pick for Jiricek? Would you do Morgan Frost in one of Edmonton's or the Avs first?
I don't know. They seem pretty set at center. Like Adam Fantilli and Sean Moynihan are your top 6 right there. And then any one of Sean Corrali, Cole Sillinger, Yegor Shchinnikov, and Dmitry Voronkov could all play center.
So maybe they move him to wing. Maybe they listen to this podcast. Like, maybe we should move him to wing. Give him a try there, because there's no pressure in Columbus. He'd love coming home to Philadelphia and scoring goals. So yeah, but another point Thomas brings up, and potentially more of a situation, is where does he fit? Like, I guess he could replace Risto whenever you trade him, but like, you have York, you got Sanheim, you have Andre, you have Bonk coming, you have Steeler locked up. Like, the Flyers do need better defensemen, but like, right now they're trying to just figure out what they have.
Yeah. I don't know, man. Like, if the deal is there, I'd probably do it, but I'm not actively like trying to spend a bunch of assets to chase David Jiricek. He's a really good prospect, and I think he's got a great ceiling, but like, you need to move a defenseman if you're going to get that trade done. I don't know. I saw some people in the comments being like, oh, I'd do Drysdale in a second. I'm like, I think the Flyers would do that too. I don't think any team in their right mind is taking Jamie Drysdale right now. So,
Yeah, so read that article. Good read there. Just wanted to bring it up here at the end. Like and subscribe, broadsthockey.com. Just 16 cents a day. You can support good independent coverage of the Philadelphia Flyers at broadsthockey.com. Subscribe to the Broad Street Hockey podcast feed on Apple and Spotify, and on YouTube, of course. Like and comment there as well. And Joe, where can people find you?
You can find me on Twitter at @JFDMarini, and you can find me on Blue Sky, where I'm becoming much more active at jfdmarini.bsky.social. How about you, Gilbs? I see you've changed your little name here to not have your Twitter handle anymore.
I have. Well, you have at JFDMarini, which is yours at both, correct?
Yes,
so that works out for you. You can follow me on Twitter at @rgilbertsop, but I'm trying to move my my Flyers takes more over to Blue Sky. I'm at ryangilbert.bsky.social over there. You can follow Broad Street Hockey on Blue Sky at broadstreethockey.com.
And we have the starter pack or whatever it's called of like all of the Broad Street Hockey staff and friends of the pod, and that you can follow as well.
Yeah, I believe that's pinned to the top of the feed there. So go ahead and skeet at us over there, over on the Blue Sky.
Well, okay, before we get out of here, what the fuck is skeet? I mean, like, I just think of like skeet skeet, like the song, but like all of a sudden this weekend everybody's like, oh, skeet at me. I'm like, what the fuck?
It's tweet, but it's Blue Sky, so it's skeet.
Oh,
yeah, okay. That's it. I don't know
I don't
who
know.
coined it, or who came up with it, but I feel like it's
I just started
good.
started hearing it after the Eagles game, and I'm like, did an Eagles player just start saying that for some reason? What the hell's going on? Okay, now I know.
Yeah. All right, that's gonna do it for us. Until next time. Thanks for listening.
Go Flyers.